Wait, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going in, bro. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, and yuckers of all shapes and sizes to the YYPP, Yuck Yuck Productions podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Christensen, and with me, as always, the Sean.
Bro, we're back.
Yeah, we took a week off.
We're back.
For the holidays, and...
You got a hook on your chest. I got Goku symbol on my chest. We're back.
Yeah, so you know what this is?
I don't.
So... Old Preston buddy and Durkin, Zane, and Tanner stopped by my house. They hold on, let me switch the camera. They hooked it up, bro.
What?
They hooked it up with Neverland sweatshirts. They're fucking hype.
Wait, do they listen to the show?
I don't think so, but I just want to give them a shout out today. If you're younger in high school or middle school and you listen to the show and you want to learn how to get into like hardcore computer stuff, one step at a time, go to Neverland, I think it's .com. I'll put a link in the description. Dude, it was so funny. So they showed up to my house, and I sleep during the day, you know.
Yes.
And so they showed up at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. And so my family just got back from church and everything, and all of a sudden I hear my dad knock on my door. He's like, hey, you have friends here.
Get up. You're like, I ain't got friends, go away.
Yeah. I was like, I woke up and I was still like half awake, and I stumbled my way up the stairs all gross and smelly, just like I just came home from work and passed out, and I go up the stairs, I'm like, what? I didn't even recognize him for a second. I was like,
who are you?
Is that Preston?
Are you from the future?
Oh, it's you guys. And they handed me the sweatshirt, and I was like, oh, yo. And so I hugged them all.
Yeah, it's like they came from the future, bro. They came from the portal. They're like, all right, we gotta go.
And I was so out of it, I couldn't even talk to him. So Tanner must have thought I was retarded or something, and he was like, all right, well, we're gonna go. And I was like, all right, let's catch up later.
This happened last week.
Yeah, sometime last week.
Bro,
this sweatshirt is so nice, man.
That's so crazy, dude. Yeah. I need to reach out to those guys.
Yeah, I want to get them on the podcast before the holidays are over. Oh, wait, no, they're already back now. We missed that shit.
Well, Preston's back for sure. Like,
is
for
he?
good, I think.
Oh, is he finished up early? All right, well, we'll get Preston and come in and talk about Neverland and stuff.
Yeah, no, I think he's taking a break. He's just here.
Weird.
It's the last time I talked to him, at least, I thought. Zane's still up and so is Tanner, right?
Yeah.
They're both up at University of Idaho.
They're both hustling that college
you guys don't know the history, or do you, between us, the press dog, the Durkin.
Yeah.
And then I don't have any history.
Nathan does. He made all of those trips.
Tanner Purvis.
Yeah, he made all those trips bomb.
What a guy. Dude, Durkin and Zane are like... they're actually... So, funny enough, there's a lot, in high school, one has a lot of friends, all right?
Yeah.
And most of those friends don't really stick. You're just there, you're experiencing the same thing. You got one thing in common, which is that school sucks, right? But if you think that way, unless you like school, then kudos to you. I did not. But Zane and Preston, for some reason, I don't know why, it was super random, but I would consider them pretty enduring friends.
Yeah.
Of the friends that I considered that I'm still in contact with after high school, which is pretty much you and Gabby Lutz. It's like, and a couple others. I'm probably forgetting people. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, people.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Sean is just coming to.
My afro, my blacky senses are tingling. But they're still malfunctioning. They're waking up. But anyways, Zane and Preston, bro, they got me my first official job that was fun, which was on Magic Mountain, dude.
Yep. So
many memories, dude, on the Magic Mountain. Crazy.
They're the best friends a dude could ask for, genuinely. So I don't know. I think it'd be cool to sit down and do a podcast with them. Maybe old Mr. T. Our old computer teacher. We'll see. We'll try to figure out what we're gonna do. But we got definitely going to do a podcast with them soon. We have a special guest. I don't know if you'll be able to make it because this was a last-minute thing.
Okay.
Larry Bleidner from the See You Next Tuesday podcast network.
Larry Bleidner.
Host of That Larry Show.
Mm-hmm.
And...
dude, we're going to New York.
Sinner Sunday.
Sinner
Sunday. So it's tomorrow. Sunday. It's tomorrow at 2. California's an hour ahead, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If it's tomorrow at 2, I won't be able to make it. That's when I start work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but
it'll still be a great interview. The show won't be able to make it, but Brother Larry is stepping into the Yuck
Brother
house.
Larry.
It was so cool too because I was like, I messaged him a long ass time ago. It was like back in October, and I was like, "Hey Larry, I really like your show. I'd be very humbled if you would come and hang out with me for an hour and talk, shoot the mess." And then nothing. And
ghosted you.
We're friends on Facebook though, and so the podcast pops up in his feed. So a month later, he connects the dots, realizes that's me and that's our podcast. And he's like, "Hey, I actually really like your show. I would be honored to do your show." And I was like,
Bro.
I look up to Larry so much. He's the king of take no shit. So he's, nice. He's written 2 books. He's written for TV shows before. Like, he's an amazing writer, and his voice is made of velvet. So you can look forward to that tomorrow. We're having a 2-episode week since we took break for the holidays. So.
Yeah, dude. It was crazy. Thanksgiving, stuffed up. Hate turkey, but I like chicken. Sorry.
You said you had news about the New York trip?
Bro. It's going to be amazing. I don't really have news. I'm just saying that I'm just telling you it's going to be bonkers. I do think we should fly out to Seattle, though. Or not Seattle, but...
Philly?
Salt Lake.
Oh,
sorry. Salt Lake City.
I was just
Philadelphia.
Concerned for the weather. That was my only thing, because if it gets snowy down there, then that's going to cause a whole slew of issues. But the prices are still cheap if we buy from Salt Lake.
So if you go through an international airline, I was talking to my boss about this, because he flies from Chicago to Twin all the time. Well, to Twin area. He always flies out from Salt Lake City because it's an international airport. You get a lot cheaper prices. Way cheaper. Boise, for some reason, it's just not. It just charges you an arm and a leg. It costs $40 extra just to drive to Salt Lake, and you'll save yourself like $300 round trip. Like, it was like $294 round trip, not even one way.
Like, we gotta hop on that soon.
Yeah, we gotta get it. I'm gonna do it with my tax return. Yep. But it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I also went to Seattle recently.
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw that. You didn't even tell me you were going. You're just
dude. It was a ministry thing. I was there for a conference. That was it's like a planting thing. So they just teach you basically how to be more contemporary with your business model. Try to figure out how to get more members in a way that's not like creepy, Yeah. So anyways, we went. So the day of, we had a couple hours to spare, and we were technically in Tacoma, but we went to Seattle to explore. It was pretty crazy, dude. Some crazy stuff happened, bro. I have a couple stories. We were, I don't know if you know where Pike's Place. Have you ever been to Seattle?
No.
And so there's this place called Pike's Place. And I don't know much about Seattle, so obviously I'm just speaking from exactly what I know, which is nothing. And apparently, I don't know if it's on the Sound or not, but it's on some kind of body of water, the Puget Sound. And Pike's Place is right here, and it's kind of like a dock. It's kind of like a little shanty town. There's like an open market. The first Starbucks ever in the world is there.
Wow.
And so I went over there. My boss wanted to go there because it's the first Starbucks ever. And by the way, I'm going to cuss just so everybody knows, so I'm sorry. But it's part of the story. And so we're at Pike's Place. We're looking at some fish. There's this huge restroom sign that's pretty cool. And we're trying to walk across the street to the Starbucks. But as we had pulled in, my boss is like, dude, I'm from Chicago. Okay, so don't worry. In these type of marketplaces, people are walking everywhere. There's literally thousands of people. So not only are we not able to drive through here effectively, like we'll drive, but we just have to wait for people. It's just the thing.
Yeah.
Nobody pays attention to your car. They just walk across the street, right? So that's what you need to do. Don't look like a deer in the headlights when you're walking across the street and cars are honking at you or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So we get to moving across the street, and like there's literally a guy that is 10 feet back, like he's not even near us, and he literally revs his engine and like plays chicken with us, dude. He like speeds up and then slams on his brakes. And me, being the nice little Twin Falls boy that I was, did exactly what my boss told me to. So I just lifted my head and just kept walking, didn't even look at the guy. He rolls down his window, he's like, "I hope you got bumpers, motherfucker." And then rolls it back up and drives off. And I was like, oh. My boss is like, "Don't worry, dude. Don't worry. Just keep parking."
Oh my God.
It was crazy, dude. If you're listening to this, bumper guy, please chill out, dude. Just chill. Just chill. There's no reason why you gotta be so aggressive, dude. I was one of 10 people that were walking across the street. But apparently, I guess I had a target on my back. And so we went up in there. That was cool. They have this like giant pig made out of coffee beans that's over their door. I don't know why it's a pig, to be honest.
It's just a good piece of art, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. And then like we're trying to walk down the city proper after that. Like we leave Pike's Place and then we start walking. We got like 7 miles in because we were looking for this game shop called the Pink Gorilla, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like a weird, almost like a drug sting dude. He's like, "We're going to the Pink Gorilla, bro." I'm like, "That's a weird name for a store, but that's all right." And he's like, "Yeah, I think it's somewhere in here." So he's like leading me through the city proper, and there's a bunch of crackheads on the street, homeless people. That's fine, but we're walking through some dangerous neighborhoods. There's just dudes just chilling on the street, just looking at us under their hoods, dude. I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. But we finally, we get to the middle of like this busy intersection, and there's this Chinese lady, dude, that's just like wandering around. And it's like it literally was like a video game, dude. It was like, she's on this street corner. The sun is behind her, reflecting off of the water. So it like looks super like hazy and dreamlike, dude. And like even though there's thousands of people like on this corner, there's no one around her. So she's just singled out, kind of like a little lost soul, dude. And like this whole aesthetic is like pulling me in. I'm like, what is going on? Like it was the weirdest thing. I was like, what's going on? I think my sinuses were messed up because of the salt water or whatever. And she like comes in and she turns and sees me, dude. And she locks on. And then she walks over and she like literally puts a bracelet on my wrist, dude. Like it was the weirdest thing. She puts this bracelet on my wrist and then she like takes out this book that has like names in it, and she's like, $5, $5, $5. I'm like, what's going on? Like I'm like trying to understand. I couldn't understand the freaking street. You know, the street traffic is loud. I'm like, I can't barely understand her. So I'm like trying to figure out. I thought she couldn't speak English, dude. So like, I'm like, okay. So I just wrote my book, or I wrote my name, and then she's like, donation, $5, $5. And my boss is like, Keishan. Like, he's, like, talking to me, and I just got, like, sucked in over here. He's like, Keishan. Keishan? Keishan, no, Keishan. And I can barely hear him in the back of my mind, like, as I'm getting sucked. He's like, Keishan, no.
What is this juju?
And so he, like, grabbed my arm, and he's like, Keishan, we gotta go. We gotta go, man. And I'm like, what? Wait, no, I have her bracelet still. And she's like, $5, $5. I'm like, oh. And I pull off the bracelet and give it to her. And he's like, let's go, man. Get out of here. And I'm like, sorry. And she's like, it's okay. And I'm like, she knew how to speak English. God. And so he pulls me away and he's like, bro, you were a goner, bro. I almost lost you. You almost got pulled in, dude.
You deep in that Chinese juju, man.
I was like, what? It was hilarious, though. I was like, what happened? I don't understand. I was gone, dude. So, anyways, we made it to the Pink Gorilla, and it was underwhelming. But the Pink Gorilla is a really famous place, I guess, and there's 2 locations, and I think we went to the location that's just a regular store. Yeah. There's like one that's like supercharged, and then there's another one that's just like a regular store. I mean, it's not like it was still a better gaming store than I've ever been to, but it wasn't what my boss was describing. Mm-hmm. It was basically like this basement, but literally on every wall they just had just like plastic sleeves full of Nintendo 64 games and NES games, like just up and down the wall, dude. Control. It was the most merchandise I've ever seen in one room before, to be honest. But it was just crazy, man. And it was right in the middle of nowhere that you would expect. There's like a law office and then like a mini mall that had been abandoned. Mm-hmm. And then like you walk down under and it's like just in this little basement window. It's crazy.
Pink Gorilla, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, apparently it's really famous. There's videos about it and everything.
Weird. So. Do they have like arcade cabinets everywhere? Is it like that kind of thing? Or
no.
Just like large collection of old video games.
There's this, well, it's not even, I mean, just video games in general. Old, new, whatever. Just a ridiculous amount. But there are a lot of old video games. And then there's like a Nintendo that's just mounted into the wall that you can play right in the middle of the thing. It's crazy. It was crazy. I actually have a video of it I can show you on my phone, but it was crazy. Never seen anything like it, bro. But, yeah, man. It was good. It was a good experience. I liked it.
Yeah. I'm excited for...
Dude, Philadelphia and New York is going to be the best. I was talking to my boss about that on our way over. Because he's from Chicago, and I was just talking about city proper and what it's like to be in a big city and things like that.
Yeah, Asterios doesn't want us to go to New York.
Oh,
it's so dangerous. He was just like... I was talking to him about it, and he was like, don't come to New York. Just don't. I was like... Well, we kind of just want to go be tourists. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I still want to go, but...
We just get shot first day. Nathan, no! Keyshawn, don't leave me, buddy.
Yeah, I've heard so many horror stories about New York now. I'm like, maybe we should just go to Philly and stay in that nice penthouse, but...
Dude, I feel like Philly is just as dangerous. I mean, I hear that they're both pretty sketchy places.
Yeah.
Gabby's in New York. She's been living in New York for 3 years now.
Weird.
Yeah, she works in, she lives in Harlem, bro.
Weird.
Upper East Side.
Upper East Side of Harlem?
I think. Yep. Yeah.
Stop by, say hi.
Yeah, we could. I'll let her know we're in town. She might pick us up. I'm like, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah. I'll just be sitting in the back.
How you doing?
I don't know you.
I don't know you. No, you gotta get into the experience, man.
Yeah.
Don't let your introversion take over. That's what I do.
Oh,
I'm
man.
an introvert.
I feel like I've been having a lot of that lately.
Introversion?
Just like incredible introversion.
You gotta recharge, man. It's a sign that you have to let the sun recharge your energy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wearing this jacket, bro. Did you know that one of the symbols for Dragon Ball Z, I think the original symbol that Goku wears means go? I didn't know that.
Just go?
Yeah, I guess it means go. It might not translate directly, but something to the ends of go. I didn't know that. Yep. I got this sweatshirt for $4.
That's pretty good.
$4. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that accent.
Oh, man. I'm excited. There's just so much fun stuff coming up.
Dude.
The holidays are right around the corner. How was your Thanksgiving? What'd you do?
Bro, we went over, we had multiple family
yeah.
to go to. Instead of just hanging out by ourselves, what we decided is that we would just go to each family's little Thanksgiving. Because my family's pretty broken apart, but there's a couple choice family members that I still hang out with. Mm-hmm. Mainly because of what's happening with my mom. We don't really have to get into that, but, I have an aunt and a cousin
yeah.
that are cool, and then I've got other relatives in other places, but as far as Twin Falls and Jerome go,
yeah,
pretty close, within 10 minutes. So we went over and did Thanksgiving at other people's houses, and then I went over to my boss's house. We had a game night, played Mario Party for the first time. It was crazy.
The new one for the Switch?
Yeah, dude,
it's so much fun.
Oh,
dude. Man, I should have came and hang out with you. Oh, we have a similar Thanksgiving tradition. So when I always go to Thanksgiving at my grandma's house,
mm-hmm.
and then immediately after, I go to my old house with all my old roommates and stuff, and we play Super Smash Bros. Until everyone passes out. And so I eat like 2 Thanksgivings at my grandma's, come back to my friend's place, take a nap because I was supposed to be asleep during the day, and I was just awake at my grandma's. So I took a nap, woke up when everyone got there, ate another Thanksgiving, and we played Super Smash Bros. Where we play it. We're all pretty competitive at the game, so you're normally supposed to play on like a flat stage with maybe like a few platforms,
right?
Items, and you just like duke it out to the end. But the Thanksgiving tradition is you play on the most obnoxious stage which in the current version of the game is Pac-Land. And it just moves back and forth, and there's tons of stage hazards and stuff everywhere. And you play on with all items on high, and you play with 99 lives a person.
Right. On Switch?
No, the Wii U. The Switch one comes out on the 7th of December, which is also going to be...
Dude, the Switch is so crazy, bro.
I really want one now.
I actually did not know that it was like it was. I thought... I don't know what I thought. But when my boss pulled out the Switch and then his friend... So what was funny is that for Thanksgiving... Now it's their tradition to fly their buddy Ty out from Chicago. He's currently a ballroom dance instructor at Fred Astaire. Dude, the dude's an amazing dancer, and he gets a lot of professional coaching, which is crazy, from national champions. But anyways, so he's a cool guy to hang out with, but he's super into video games and comics and stuff. And so he pulls Ty out every Thanksgiving now. I guess that's their tradition. And so he brought his Switch, and I'm like, I don't know what I seriously don't know what I thought. I thought we were gonna play on the little screens or whatever. I didn't know what. Yeah. And he like detaches the thing, and he's like, "Here, man." I'm like, "Is this the controller?
This one little Joy-Con.
This little thing. How am I supposed to hold it?" He's like, "You hold it like this, man." I'm like, this is the size of my big toe. Come on. And he's like, "Yep."
Yeah, doesn't just stand up a bunch of a big black mother yucker you are.
Dude, it was crazy though. I liked it.
Yeah.
That was actually really cool. It, like, detaches. I won the Mortal... Yeah. Dude, I wrecked him at Mortal Kombat X for some reason. I haven't played that game ever, actually.
Oh, man. As long as you kept up with what you know from 9, you're good.
Dude, I literally haven't played any Mortal Kombat in years. And my boss, like, owns the game and has beat it, like, 7 times. His buddy Ty... Dude, I wrecked them on freaking Mortal Kombat. It was crazy. I didn't even play with any characters. I just chose random characters every time. Yeah. You. I probably chose a total of 12, and I was at the top of the gauntlet. There's 4 of us. I just whacked all of them for 3 in a row, like 3 times around, and then it's finally one of them beat me, and then I came back, whacked him again, and then got beat again. It was great. I don't know how I was doing so good, but I was. It actually made me upset in myself. I don't know why.
Where does all this natural talent come from?
Why did I invest in video? I could have just been a Mortal Kombat X tournament player. Yeah. No. Crazy, dude. Crazy. But that's cool, though. You're able to hang out with your friends. That's cool. I like Smash Bros.
Yeah.
I hear the new version is going to be... Riggedy, 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 rag.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Just from everything that I've seen and like all the stuff they're adding. This is probably going to be the last Smash game, so it'll be like...
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the guy didn't even want to make this one. It's just the Smash series is just worth so much money because like how much competition and stuff there is in it. Like people still play Melee competitively, like by the millions.
Right.
You know. Which is like for the GameCube.
Yeah.
And you
Melee,
have to
dude. I remember
you have to get
Melee.
an old school CRT to play it and everything. I'm like,
GameCubes, dude. When are they going to retrograde the GameCube? They've done the Super NES. They've done the PlayStation 1 now.
Well, they're going to do the N64 first and then GameCube if they're going to do them all in order.
Nice.
It's getting to the point where you can. I mean, like, you could emulate GameCube a while ago. So it's like... just a matter of time.
Yeah, dude. Who was I talking to? Someone was telling me, I think it was my cousin Chance. Someone was telling me that, like, it was the 20th anniversary of Ocarina of Time on Thanksgiving Day, I think. Or maybe it was, like, the day before Thanksgiving or something like that. But it was the 20th anniversary of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, which is an old school.
And he thinks that they're going to remaster it, dude. Or they're going to remake it.
I thought they already did for the 3DS.
Oh, they might have done that, but they're going to remake like for the Switch.
Like a 15th anniversary or something. Yeah, they probably will. Because I don't think we have a Zelda game besides Breath of the Wild on the Switch.
Bro. Did they port it or did they remaster it?
For Ocarina of Time for the 3DS? I think they remastered it.
So it wasn't so blocky? Had like... Did it have like Breath of the Wild graphics?
No, not Breath of the Wild graphics, because that's like way more
I think
advanced,
they could do it.
Well, they can do it now on the Switch, but I mean, if you compare the 3DS to the Switch, it's a joke.
Right.
Yeah. That the thing. I mean, it has 4K on a display this big.
Jeez.
You know, which is just, and the way it processes graphics and everything is just
the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's bananas, and the 3DS is literally just like.
Just a screen. It's just a handheld device, bro.
It's just a Game Boy Advance SP with more RAM.
Yep. It's crazy, dude. If they remake that game, you know how much money they would make? It's a simple decision.
That's why they keep remaking all of them. I think they've just been going in order.
Well, it just makes sense, too. Like, I would definitely play that game to death. I would have to buy a Switch just so I could play Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
I would have to. I'd have no choice.
I
would be forced to buy. It would be a shame because I'd be forced to buy a Switch so that I could play.
Dude, I want to buy a Switch already just so I can get Smash and Cave Story Plus. There's a super old school game that came out 2004, I think, for the PC. It was originally like a free game called Cave Story.
Cave Story.
And it's this, like, if you've ever played a Metroid game, it'll heavily remind you of it.
Metroid!
Yeah. And so...
bringing me back. He's bringing it back.
It was a huge inspiration for the guy who made Undertale, I think. Or maybe it was actually the same guy, because they're both made by single-person developers, which means they made the art, they programmed the game, like, they designed everything. Like, it's a one-man army that just makes a whole video game. And and that is a hard, like, 4-year process to make an actual, like, good AA title, you know, by yourself.
Right.
And so I have a lot of respect and love for the developers that can handle that, because it's so much.
I hear Switch games are really good, but it's in its own realm. It's literally like not competing with any of the other consoles.
Yeah.
Just because it's like in its entire, like, that's an entire game sphere in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who play Xbox and PlayStation, I don't know, are the same demographic. I don't know anything about that.
They pretty much are.
But I don't know if it's like a competing demographic. Like, if there was a game on the Switch, they would never be competing with a game on Nintendo, I feel like, unless it was like a huge title like Smash Bros. Other than that, like, I'd never heard of Mario Party. Breath of the Wild is the only other game I've heard of on the Switch, and I'm a pretty avid gamer.
Yeah.
I mean, I just freaking repped out Spider-Man in one day. Basically 2 days, really, but I was renting the game, so I'm like, I'm just gonna
gonna play this to death.
I'm going to relax. I took the first official day off, like, doing nothing for 16 hours that I've had in a very long time. I just literally played the entire game and beat it 100% in 2 days.
It's a blast.
It was a good game, but there's a lot of Nintendo games that I don't even know about, and that's the crazy thing, is that I feel like is in its own sphere of influence.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know. There's been a lot of talk about cross-platform recently, but I don't know if we'll ever actually get there, just because of the disputes. Sony wants to keep everyone playing PlayStation. They don't want to, Xbox is already officially extended an olive branch, and so is Nintendo. They're like, we're ready, this is what needs to happen. And you can somewhat, like on Fortnite, you can't play on the same team as someone from Xbox if you're on a PlayStation. But if you're on an Xbox, you can play with someone that's on Switch, phone, computer. You know, you could do the whole 9 yards.
Wow. And
so honestly, right now it's just at a point where we're just waiting on Sony just to, like, buck up a little bit so we can just have
Sony, man.
I think they should all just merge into a mega conglomerate, and
they
so
want to
we
make
could just
that
have
moolah.
like the most insane console ever.
That's really how it is, you know. Even though they compete with each other, they really don't. I mean, in all reality, you're gonna play PlayStation or Xbox or both. Most gamers have both.
Yeah.
My boss has both. He has all three. He has a Switch, PlayStation 4, and an Xbox One.
Yeah.
Because he loves and a PC. Because he loves gaming, dude. Yeah. That's what he does. You know, so it's like, if you're into it, you're going to have them. Like, you just want to play those games. It's fine. You know, and it's a preference of how you play it. You get a different... So where I think that they would be successful is that you get a different experience from each. You know, since Xbox is more like a computer than anything, you know, it's hooked to Microsoft and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's an entire different experience than playing on a PlayStation. And PlayStation is optimized specifically for having a traditional gaming experience, I feel like. And it has an easier control. I don't like the Xbox controller. That's why I like play PlayStation.
Dude, I don't know. I have this constant debate with people. What was your favorite controller that you've ever held in your hands?
I feel like my favorite controller... I actually think my favorite controller I've ever... I think it's the PlayStation, dude, but I think it's a close second with the Nintendo 64. I like the little...
See,
the
well,
handle.
I like that, but at the same time, it's incredibly unconventional to have a third like hand holder.
It really is impractical, but
yeah,
I liked it. I liked the way it felt. I hate Xbox controllers. I actually don't like it.
I played a lot of fighting games, and for fighting games, I think the 360 D-pad was the best like controller design ever. To where it's like half joystick, half D-pad, so you can get the most like correct inputs, but still have the fluidity.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I honestly believe like that's the best controller. And if you look at the controllers that have come out afterward, Microsoft messed up the one controller because they went back to the old D-pad, which blows.
Right.
But Nintendo, I think, picked up on it because all the Pro controllers that are made for the Wii U and for the Switch are all literally an Xbox 360 controller.
Right. Yeah, I like PlayStation controllers, man. And you're probably right, dude. Like, it probably is optimized better. But I don't know whether it's nostalgia or the button layout. That's another thing. Is for some reason I'm more a visual and auditory person than I am a kinesthetic person. And visually, because I'm an artist, I can see a lot of stuff. I like to see colors. That's why I like the Switch, is because it's colorful. That's what I was gonna say. Is Nintendo has a lot of like very cartoonish, you know, animated feels to it, whereas Sony is more hardcore with their controller. But for some reason, like even on the screen, being prompted with an X over a B or an A is like, or like being prompted with a square or a triangle or a circle. For some reason, that just gels better with me. I don't know why.
Really?
I'm actually emotional about it. I'm actually like, if I get prompted with an A, it actually gives me anxiety.
So if you're playing the campaign for Advanced Warfare, and you stepped up to the coffin and it said press X to pay respect.
Yep, I have to. It has to be X, bro. It can't be A.
You go up in the computer version.
No respect.
No respect.
No respect.
No F to pay.
No,
respect.
if it's an F, bro. If it's an F, get out of here. Fuck out of here, dude. What are you talking about? I'm not a PC gamer either. I don't even know how you could do. I don't know how people do that. That's so crazy. How are you gonna game with? Like, to me, I'm like, how do you game with a mouse and a keyboard, bro? That's insane. That brings me back to my Armor Games days, bro. Is that what it's called? ArmorGames.com?
Oh, one of those flash sites?
Bro, that was... Nothing's more nostalgic than Armor Games, bro. I spent so many hours as a kid playing Armor Games games. Just like little mini stories. Probably affected my mind in a weird way.
Oh, you're talking about Newgrounds.
No, I'm talking about Armor Games. There's
okay.
ArmorGames.com, then there's Newgrounds.com. Newgrounds is kind of weirdly inhabited by pornography.
It's the seedy underground of flash games.
Yep. Armor Games.
A lot of cool guys came out of there, though.
It's true. Newgrounds was like... I remember it being... That's what YouTube used to look like, bro.
Yeah, it was just...
It was a weird, like, kind of black server type thing, dude. It's actually pretty crazy. You're right. A lot of people came out of that. Then YouTube went corporate. Now it's very clean looking. But Newgrounds, my guy, dude. Newgrounds was where you went and played the dirty games as a kid. And played some...
Speaking of YouTube being corporate nonsense, so... our friends at the See You Next Tuesday podcast network, Dick Masterson. Went on these guys from, I think it's called the Ralph Retort. And they did a heel I think pretty much every big place was doing it. It's called the heel stream, and they were raising money for St. Jude's.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's what Rhett and Link are doing right now.
Yeah,
I think they went to St. Jude's headquarters.
Yeah, and so they're raising money for cancer researchers for St. Jude's, and they raised $27,000 via super chat.
Nice.
And they YouTube. Okay, so here's what happened. All the super chats were refunded from that stream. 27 G's just. And then an article was released from the Wall Street Journal by some weird Asian chick that has a boner for messing with guys that write satire comedy. And said that they were using like hate speech and everything, which is like some of the jokes were kind of lowbrow. I'm not going to deny that. But it's all in good fun in raising money for cancer research. And she called them Nazis. She said like specifically anti-Semitic joke, and so she called them Nazis. So because they were making hateful jokes, they took $27,000 and gave it back to Nazis. Was the end equation of this mess up. It was literally like the dumbest thing. They're mad, so they gave them back their money.
Oh, St. Jude's Hospital?
YouTube hangs on. Here's the thing. YouTube hangs on to any charity money for a month before it actually goes to a charity and puts it into a different business that claims to be charity, but it's not really charity. It's not a non-profit organization. So they hold it and try to like build interest on it for a month and then give it to the cancer research. So they just refunded $27,000
to your buddies, not to the customers.
No, to the customers. Oh. No, they didn't touch a dime of it.
Oh,
the guys that host the stream did not.
Bro, what? That seems logistically complicated, even.
Yeah, it was like, why?
Yeah,
you literally just took
politics,
some kid's chemo treatment.
Yeah,
for a couple
politics,
months,
bro. It's politics.
It's so bad. So
bad. What happened like that? What was I gonna say? Something happened. Oh, I was listening to the JRE, dude. I was listening to Joe Rogan Experience, and they were talking about PewDiePie and how he was labeled as an anti. No, when he was dropped as an anti-Semite, he was deemed a Nazi. And it was just a hilarious situation because, like, everybody that's met PewDiePie knows that he's just a comedian, just like anybody else. Yeah. He's a super nice guy, actually a phenomenally nice guy.
Yeah.
But he's just, he was making some jokes, bro.
Yeah.
And, like, Joe Rogan was talking about how he's like, people are just too sensitive. Like, you can't be a comedian anymore.
What's funny is there's a movie from 1993 called Demolition Man. This is from before we were born, Sean.
Before we were born, before Sean.
Yeah.
BS.
Yeah.
Before Sean.
Starring Sylvester Stallone. The man himself, right?
The man.
The Rocky.
The legend.
And it's about this guy who's a cop who gets caught messing up something that costs a bunch of people their lives. And the new version of jail was cryo tanks. And so he goes to spend the rest of his life in an ice box, right? And so some guy breaks out of the ice box somehow, and then it's like, I think it was like 60 years in the future or something. So this is like 2050. And it's Los Angeles and San Francisco grew so large that they merged together into San Angeles or something like that. But it's so far in the future that it predicted it. No one's allowed to touch each other. No one's allowed to swear. There's no guns. There's no violence. Everyone's taken care of. And it's like if communism went correctly, where just like everyone had a specific task they had to do every day as their food ticket, Yeah.
First of all, who puts a prisoner in cryostasis? The whole point of prison is that you're supposed to be consciously waiting out your time to understand how much you messed up.
Part of it is they put headphones in your ears that like try to do some mind stuff to you to make you non-violent.
Okay.
And it didn't work. It didn't work on the guy that broke out or the guy that they unfroze, the old cop, because the guy went to a museum and like stole a bunch of guns, old school guns and stuff. And so no one else knew how to even tackle this guy. The world was like literally no one touched each other. If they want to fornicate, they put on like VR headsets.
What?
Of fornication with another person. There's no like... Literally, like, you don't touch anyone. No old school memorabilia. Like, there's all these rules. Everyone has to be nice to each other, and I feel like that's where the world's going at this rate.
I'm gonna have to karate kick somebody in the face, dude. It can't happen.
But it was a great movie.
I'm sorry, world. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Can't take the freedom of speech away from me.
You can't do that. I was reading. You know what I was reading? I was reading a Batman story about. It was No, it wasn't Injustice. It was a story about. It was when Lex Luthor becomes Superman. He builds a Superman suit after the New 52 Superman dies.
Yeah.
And then classic Superman comes back, and then there's another like Clark Kent duplicate or whatever.
Yeah.
And basically, classic Superman, having been apparently killed by. Doomsday comes back, and the new 52 Superman, I think, merged with Doomsday or something and became Doomsday himself, or something happened. But anyways, Superman, having been classic Superman, would not believe that Lex Luthor was a good guy in that universe, and so he kept on trying to fight him. And Lex Luthor's like, "Bro, I'm just trying to do good."
Helping.
But I think that then who came back? There was somebody who came back from the future and was trying to kill Lex Luthor. Because I guess in the future, Lex Luthor caused Doomsday to come back and destroy their reality or something, and so this guy's coming back back into the past to try to stop it and kill Lex Luthor. And Superman, even though he hates Lex Luthor, is like, we can't convict a man for something he hasn't done yet. You can't take away his freedom to do wrong because he hasn't done wrong yet, technically.
Yeah.
So we have to wait until he does wrong before we kick his butt.
Yeah.
Right? And that's true. I mean, you can't just be like, I read your mind and
we think you might do this, so we're going to preemptively punish you.
There's a 70% chance that you're going to do something bad, so we're going to preemptively just nip that in the bud. That's wrong, bro.
You know what? You know what else, too? Facebook dicked us.
Dang.
So the last episode we did, we talked about the underage vaping crisis hitting America, 78% of high school, or no, it's like a 78% increase of kids in high school are now using vapes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's literally an epidemic sweeping the country. And like I said, those kids are going to grow up and get limp dick and other vaginal issues. But Facebook reached out to me and said, "Hey, we know you're trying to promote your show. We'll give you $15 credit to advertise the show." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I used the $15 credit, and then an hour later they're like, "No, you can't talk about underage vaping." I'm like, "We're not supporting this. This is not something like we're supporting. We just want to talk about the issue because like we said, we were talking about Snapchat and stuff too, and like how parents could be involved in the right way, so that way they don't know what their kids, they know what their kids are up to, and not just running willy-nilly,
right?
Because connecting with teenage kids is like a pain in the butt. So, yeah, but we got dicked by Facebook, and they were like, "No, you can't." And so
they take the video down.
No.
Oh, okay. They
threatened to. It's in review, and I was like,
"Whoa, Facebook, calm down, man."
It's like I'm just talking. What do you want? I think it was also because I vaped in that video, but
the disrespect from the Facebook. Yeah, man.
So
crazy stuff's going on, man.
I don't know.
This is the truth about it, bro. This crazy world we live in. It's getting crazier by the second. But the way I feel, man, is it's like you can't restrict people from having their opinion. You can't because in reality, I mean, it's like this, dude. I think it's the same as racism, right? It's reversed in the same way. You can't just because you haven't had an opinion for many years, or at least your opinion has been devalued or whatever. You can't let that hyper extend past where it's deserved. You know what I'm saying? Like, equality is one thing. Our opinions being equal to each other is one thing. But because you were oppressed for a long time, now your opinion is more valuable than mine all of a sudden? That's not true. I'm sorry. But it's just not. We're still humans. I think the threshold that you reach is only 0. It can't be negative or positive. It has to be 0 to be equal, right? So we can equalize if my opinion, like white people, right, compared to black people, it's the easiest analogy I can make. If white people's opinion is seen as more valuable than a black person's opinion, the only thing that we should be seeking to do is make that equal, not black people now have more say. I think there's a bias I was listening to. I can't remember the exact term for it. But there's literally a bias to where if you are of a minority, all of a sudden... Or a woman, which is a minority... Well, no, actually, there's one. They got 51. There's more. Yeah, they got 51%. All of a sudden, your opinion is more valuable no matter what. Like, you'll just be taken more seriously in some circles. And that does not make sense to me. It's just the same. It's literally the same exact thing as a white person's opinion over a black person's opinion. It's like if I walk into whatever establishment would be purely white, and if my opinion was devalued and their opinion was higher, it's the exact same thing, but in reverse now, right? Yeah. So if I walk into an establishment and because I'm black, all of a sudden my opinion is higher than somebody else's, that's dumb. I'm sorry.
That's what happened with James Damore.
Dude.
At the Google thing. Google's been cool to me through the years, but that was really messed up. Like, the guy was just saying is like, hey, it's not because we need to be... Diversity is cool, not because it's a necessity, just because it's like... It's cool to be able to talk to different people. Yeah. But we shouldn't hire based on diversity numbers, because literally...
You can't!
Literally what they were doing was saying, all right, this is how many Asian women there are in America, this is how many Asian men there are in America, this is how many black men there are in America, this is how many black women there are in America, and broke it down by percentages, be like, that is what our workforce needs to look like. So they were hiring strictly based on...
Makes no sense.
Or loosely based on gender and race.
It makes sense to make an effort to be more diverse. But it doesn't make sense to hire for the sake of diversity, because that person could not be the worker you're looking for.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. Here's the sad thing about equality, right? If this person is smarter than me and they happen to be white, that has nothing to do with their race, right? If they're perceived to be smarter, that's one thing. But if they are legit smarter and can do the job better, it doesn't matter who they are. It shouldn't. If it is all white people, then that's just a statistic. Yeah. Right?
We're going to get labeled as Nazis for this, but...
I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. If you can prove to me that this person is a better worker than me, I don't care what color they are. They're just a better worker. That's it. So you can't just be like, okay, well, these 5 lazy people, but because they're Native American, Asian, Hispanic, black, and then some other variant, we're just going to put them to work for us. That doesn't work, bro. And it doesn't work with females either. If I can do a better physical job, so if we're in a physical thing, I'm a big guy, 6'5", 260 pounds. I can lift a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. You cannot put a female in my job just for the sake of her being a female. If I can lift it better, it should be my job, right? Yeah. If we're put up to bat, if I have to lift this railroad tie, and I can lift 10 railroad ties in 5 minutes and load them onto the truck or whatever speed I have to, and she can lift 10 railroad ties in 15 minutes, it makes more sense for me to be hired because I'm bigger.
Yeah.
There's other males that are her size, and then that would be a real contest. But give me a female that's my size that can work as fast and lift as heavy as I can, and then that's fine. Then she can be in the job, right?
Yeah.
But if it makes more sense for me physically to be there just because I'm literally bigger, I'm not saying, females can't do jobs or whatever. It's just who can do the job the fastest, the most effectively, and who it is individually. Me as an individual, I'm a big guy. Some males are not. Some males are 5 foot flat and 110 pounds.
Yeah. Well, my theory
as
to why what happened to Google is because Google just has such a monopoly now that they're not worried about, like, YouTube's been ran in the red. Mm-hmm. Like, they have not made money off YouTube since they purchased it, literally. And it hasn't been getting, like, any better by any means.
Who?
Google, when they bought YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, YouTube's just been a failed project for them. But they have the monopoly on YouTube streaming, or on, like, video streaming services. And now that they have, like, TV and stuff investing in them, they're finally getting that monopoly around. So at some point, if you have a monopoly, you're not worried about how much money you're making because you're getting... You have pretty much... They have, like, a 98% monopoly. There's, like, Vimeo and, like, a few other small services, but there's just not that many. And they also have the monopoly on information distribution via the search engine and stuff. And so I think at some point you grow so large that all you do is you're not worried about who's the best for what job. Pretty much what most of the people that actually work at Google do is try to invent new stuff. And so a lot of people work at different paces. I don't think they're worried about how good the workers are. I think they're strictly worried about PR. For the reason that...
Mm-hmm. And see,
that's
that
the only
would
reason
be...
people would stop using their services in today's day and age, because there's so much outrage at, racism, Nazis, far right, alt-right, whatever BS, And so all they would like to do is keep a monopoly. And if prioritizing diversity does that for them,
that makes
that's
sense.
What they'll do. But it's not correct.
Yeah, it's not correct, and you're right. I think that's where equality happens, to be honest. I don't think equality happens in labor jobs because that's no contest. Yeah. Right? If there's bigger people who are doing the job faster, then that makes sense to hire them, period. Yeah. Now, if there is a lady that can do that, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me. Whoever can do the job the best, doesn't matter who they are. That's it. But in a job where it's like tech or, like you said, PR, media, digital stuff, anything that doesn't require actual physical hard labor. Yeah. Concrete, construction, timber, firemen, whatever. Whoever's capable for those jobs is who should be in it. But in those type of jobs, that's where equality should happen. Then it's an issue of intellectuals, right? Then it's an issue of just who has the best skill set digitally. Yeah. And that can be anybody. That can be anyone in the world, right? Because you're using your mind. And honestly, females could be sharper in that. They're probably more intelligent, They can multitask better. It's just, it's what it is,
it's in
right?
the DNA, buddy.
Yep, so that's where equality should happen, and that's how most jobs are now. We're getting away from labor. Now we're creating robots that do things for us. Or factory jobs, for instance.
And it was crazy too, because I was at the factory job, and I was sitting in the break room before the shift was starting, and everyone's in there, and there's this one like ultra feminist liberal arts major chick talking about the wage gap. Yeah. And I came in and I sat down.
She's just liberal. Liberal arts would mean that she's just not studying anything, by the
way. And she's talking about it, 70 cents to the man's dollar or whatever. And I go, how much do you make an hour? Because we both hired through the same thing. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, how much do you make an hour? And she tells me, and I tell her, I make the same amount. Where's the gap?
Right.
And I pointed to every chick in the room. There's a few of them. We actually have a good number of chicks that work in the factory. And I'm like, how much do you make? How much do you make? How much do you make?
Right.
Where's it at? Because those stats are skewed. There's Dick Masterson, when he wrote Men Are Better Than Women, which, obviously is a joke. It's like the whole point,
satirical,
was to show that you can bend statistics and, display them in ways that can make people biased towards things. And that's what women are doing with those stats, is they're not looking at everything objectively. They're looking
some
at
women.
I should say some women, because the wage gap was debunked by, I think, the chick that runs like the statistics department or something at Harvard or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the exact story, but it's like there is some kind of gap that is still there. It's not that it's unexistent, and it's always in like more tenured positions, like you said, with like tech and stuff. And like, it's more about women are usually like less likely to ask for a raise, that kind of thing.
That's exactly what I was about to say, bro.
Yeah,
they're less aggressive.
That's all that boils down to.
Well, and I feel like they're more ready to deal. Like, I feel like they're stronger in that way, stronger emotionally. They are more prepared to just deal with shit. They're more prepared to just be like, all right, I'll just deal with my job as long as I get money. Yeah. Or stay in a position because of loyalty or whatever. So I think that they have a better understanding of where they fit in a team. Whereas men get egotistical, they get prideful, right? So they want to be on top, and I don't know if that happened. Like, I don't know the statistics. I'm not, I don't know biologically what the difference is, but I think that men can be more egotistical.
It's like 40-60.
And they want to get up there, whereas a woman's like, I understand that I might not be a CEO. I might not be the best person for that job. So I'm going to look at what job is the best for me as a person, and I'm going to pursue that. And if that means I'm number 27, I think women are probably more okay with that, which is interesting. It makes them stronger as a they're just ready to deal with stuff. And so I think that's what what's his name on Joe Rogan's podcast was saying, is that it's a man. Obviously, I don't know if that's true. I've never looked into the statistics myself, but it sounds correct to say that a man would be more aggressive with trying to get a pay raise than a woman would be.
And that was everything that was in James Damore's, I guess people are calling it his manifesto or whatever, but it was essentially just a research paper he wrote saying, like, this is why chicks don't like computers, and this is why that statistic is wrong and stuff. And people just ostracized him immediately. Like, I don't know how his lawsuit against Google is going, or if they settled out of court, but that happened a long time ago. But
yep. Anytime that you will ever, from now into the future, anytime that you ever present an absolute, you're going to have an argument with somebody. And anytime you present something purely based on race, gender, anything like that, from now on, you better be able to back up your statistics, buddy, because you can't just say anything anymore. Yeah. Which is good. It's good in a way, because now it makes people have to be more conscious of themselves. I have to have an argument. If I'm going to express my opinion, apparently, that's a whole nother discussion in itself, is why everybody's arguing instead of discussing now. There's a difference between discussion and argument. Now everybody's freaking arguing about everything instead of discussing. But two, people are so hyped up on their opinions, on how they feel about the world, about change, which is good for change. It's good for change's sake. To change things, that has to happen. There has to be a movement. Just some kind of movement. It's like the voting thing, right? Mm-hmm. Are all the record-breaking numbers of voters, are all those voters educated? No. But it did start a movement, right? So now the discussion's open, so now the future will be a little better. So we're going to have a couple years where it's like, those statistics aren't really that good. Yeah. But
I just hope we don't end up like the Demolition Man world.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hope so. It can't be too clean, man. We still have to, you can't, without a perception of what a straight line is, you can't have a crooked one. You wouldn't know what crooked was if you didn't know what straight was. There has to be good and evil.
Like we talked about a long time ago on the second episode you were there, I think. was Matthew 13:12.
Yep.
Or Matthew 13, which is, you know,
it can't be all the way fair, man.
You can't value one thing without the other. In order to have value, there has to be something that's less.
There has to be universal balance, bro.
Yeah.
Says so in every analogy we've ever made as a human race.
Yep.
Ever. There has to be balance.
The good and evil, buddy.
There can't be a utopia. It's not possible.
Yeah. Otherwise,
it just exists. It's part of the universe. You have to have negative. For every positive thing there is, there's negative all around it, right? It just has to be that way. Not negative in a bad way, negative in an absence of what was, right?
Yeah.
This is it.
As they say,
sorry, guys.
A bowl isn't useful without the negative space in the middle, you know.
It's true. It's true.
Sometimes
that's what makes a bowl, bro.
Yeah, sometimes things have to be negative to be useful.
Otherwise, it'd just be a half circle.
Yeah, it'd be useless. It'd just be a plate that rolls over.
Yeah, but I think technology's going in a good place. It's all, you know what? Cynicism is, I think, the problem, really. I mean, it's like the world is actually getting to be a good place.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like we just hit a rough patch as far as, like, politics and
but when it comes to
ideologies go.
Here's the thing about all that stuff too, is it's so weird because in the same time that it matters, it also doesn't matter. At this point in history, we are more free to do whatever we want to do at any time than we ever have been. Because if you think about it, so like the paradigm has shifted. You know, judging people for their opinions isn't new. It just happened in a conservative way before, right? So that's where the revolt is happening, is for literally centuries, people who acted out of line were seen as heretics. They're seen as witches. They're seen as voodoo, alchemists, whatever. They're seen as bad people if they act out against society, right?
Yeah.
So now society breaks. Now people who act out against society are now considered the hero, and people who act out against the heroes are considered bad, right?
Yep.
Or whatever. But it's the same thing.
The alt-right, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's just...
It's just flipped.
So many people have just said that the universe has just done a 180 on us.
Yep.
The way the world is perceived around us is just 180.
Yep, and it's flipped. But here's the thing, though. In the past, if you were seen as bad, you'd be executed.
Yeah.
In the past, if you were seen as bad, you'd be burned at the stake, hung from a tree, manipulated, torn apart, right?
Thrown
whatever.
In the ocean. Yeah.
Yep. Just put on a freaking triangle till you got cut in half, drawn and quartered, whatever. People did not like it. They responded with absolute violence. Yeah. But now, if you disagree with somebody, it's just a disagreement. You'll lose money, maybe.
Yeah.
You'll lose fame, maybe.
Yeah.
But you won't lose your life. You're free to do whatever you want to do.
People like to describe it as like a pendulum, how it was so far one way for so long, and now that it's swinging back the other way, we're like, we just finished climbing the other side, but it's not as far as it was on the other side.
It's going to equalize again, and then maybe it might swing the other way, and that's where we'll get the Demolition Society.
Yeah, and then
that's where we'll go back into martial law again, and we'll get executed. But my gosh, dude, we are free. I mean, as of right now, today, November, whatever it is, at 7 o'clock-ish in the morning.
Yep.
Kayshawn and Nathan and whoever's listening to this podcast are free to do whatever you want to do, unless you rape a cod or a kid. And don't rape a cod either. But unless you rape a kid, murder somebody, steal some stuff, the bad things, super bad things. But for the most part, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Whether you'll be good at it, who knows? But you can do whatever you want to do in life right now.
I thought it'd be good to leave it on that. That's beautiful. Hey guys, thanks again for sitting back with us on a Monday morning.
Dude, you're still here? Lame, bro. Just kidding. What's up, man?
If you if you like the show, starting next month, we're going to be sending out stickers. So for all the guys that are already patrons of the show, you're going to have to go in and put in your address. That way we can mail you the sticker.
The sticker.
Yeah, and then hopefully in January, we'll start with t-shirts and whatnot. So you can find the show pretty much anywhere you listen to whatever. We're on YouTube, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher. We're everywhere. So wherever you listen to stuff, wherever you watch stuff, we'll be there. We're here for you.
That's right. Here for your every need. Whoever you are, you're probably a purple alien. Most likely.
See you guys.